Yo, yo, yo.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the end of round 3 on Saturday at the South Coast GT 2016. We are up above the hall at the minute, standing here. Well, not doing really a lot, are we, Wayne? But it's been a really busy round. In terms of just stuff, really, keeping an eye on what's going on, making sure you guys all get the coverage, and now we're starting to get to more serious end of people seeing who's rising to the top after 3 games. We'll catch up later with other co-organiser Russ Phil to have a little chat about what has actually been the filth and who's doing well. There's some great lists out there at the minute, doing very well and really showing the difference in player level and player experience, so that'll be an interesting topic, I'm sure. But for now, we just wanted to highlight a couple of the games for you that are going on down below us, and just so you can have a bit of a pan around the hall, really, a different angle we're looking at it instead of looking at our mugs for the next sort of 10 minutes. So we'll have a look and we'll talk you through some of it.
So as you can see, this is the main hall. Obviously, everything's in full flow at the moment. This is game 3. I thought it would be a better perspective for the viewers to actually see all of these games going on at once, rather than a sort of ground floor view, which you've been witnessing so far.
So you've got this hall. How many tables are in here, Wayne?
I think there's 50 in this room.
And then we've got a load more in the bar, which we quite like. And then when we used to have 200 odd, we would make more tables in here. There's a real good amount of space in here at the moment, but we can fit a lot more. And then we go out around the corner in another room, didn't we, as well? So our capacity was higher, but this is a really nice level of people, wasn't it? Yeah,
I think it's great for the guys to have a bit more space. It seems just. The game itself seems to attract a more laid-back player anyway. So what we found this year is we haven't really had problems, as in too many rules queries. Everything's been very easy to sort out fast. And I noticed the game results are in quicker, less mistakes being made. The actual flow of getting up the next round and stuff like that has just been smoother.
Yeah, and I think so. We're playing 100 pools in our pool system, and I think that fits nicely into pretty much a 2.5 hour game, because we give all players 2.75 hours, but a little bit of that's adding up and getting your results in. There's also, you have to set the terrain up to a predefined map every game, depending on the scenario, so that also takes a bit of time, so we get the extra 15 minutes to do it. But it seems to be going really well, doesn't it, in terms of timing?
Yeah, it does, definitely.
We've hardly had anyone overrun, hardly had to chase anybody, which is great, actually. So that's been good news.
Usually every round we have someone that's running 10 minutes over. So far we've not had anyone doing that. In fact, all the results have been in on time, so that's great. As organisers, that's great.
And it's good to see as well, you've just seen a shot there of a game just finishing up, which has the Star Drakes. You've seen it probably a lot. There's a gent named Ben who's brought Star Drakes with him, 5 of them, is it? And a Prime.
Yeah, 5,
he can't actually win 3 of the games because of the way the scenarios work, but he just wanted to bring the army, so he's brought himself a nice coloured map to go underneath there, and a load of his own Games Workshop scenery he's built and painted. And looks phenomenal every game, and there's been quite a few shots of that, but they've just finished up. Looks like he's done well by the fact that the guy's moving all his Star Drakes that are on the board, and he doesn't have any models. So, yeah. We would shout at him and holler him, but we don't want to embarrass him.
I think he lost all 5 in the last game.
Yo, did you win? No, I don't think he did, so we won't make him sad. So on the top tables, just over the other side there, you can see table 1's empty. That looks like the nice orange t-shirt that you see there on the back of the chair. That went there to Darren, who is using a mixed Chaos Force. It looks like we'll probably have a chat to him maybe at some point. He's got Kairos and I think it's double Storm Fiends with the warp tunnelers, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's using the formation, engine cover formation, which allows the Storm Fiends to come up within 9 inches. Because the problem with the flamethrowers before is if you come up with a tunneler, you have to be at least 9 inches away, and you don't get to shoot them. But with that formation, you can bypass that. You can be as close as you like. So they come up. They do 2d3 mortal wounds each, and he's got 6 of them coming out of the ground. So, yeah, it's wrecking units.
So something really that's been particularly strong at this event so far is, especially with the amount of them, is the Stormcast Eternals with the Vexilor banner, the one that teleports a unit. And Brian Carmichael's on table 2 at the minute, who spoke on one of the earlier shows. He's just literally finished it. You can see his table here. Has won all 3. In the last game, I think he teleported 6 Fulminators, the Dracoth Cav, straight into a Lord of Change turn 1 and killed him. So, and that obviously helps. And he seems to be doing very well with that. So I'd imagine it's, depending on how the draw falls, there's a lot of people on the similar points. It may be him and Darren tomorrow, but we'll find out.
I think the mixed Chaos armies with Skaven and the Warp Grinders, I think that's going to be the balancer. Because the Stormcaster used to being able to teleport all over the table without their opponent being able to sort of come back at them.
Yeah.
But the Skaven allow the opponent to come back on. So it'd be interesting to see how when you get that match off, how they handle each other and how they go about it.
So there's a few lists as well. I mean, you've got one list down in the second row, right on the end there, which is a guy named Terry Pike. You can see just on the left of your shot there with glasses on. He's well known. He's on the Facehammer podcast, and he is using some proper good mix of filth. He's got Kairos. He's got a Vermin Lord. What else has he got? He's got Thankful, a Vermin Lord, Kairos, and I want to say another fourth character of some description. And he's skitter-leaping Thankful into a place to be able to use his 2d6 mortal wound weapon on someone, and then using Kairos' reroll to change the other d6 to make sure he gets a massive dot. He one-shot Slan turn 1, and he's been doing well. And obviously he's on the top row, so he's on max wins at the moment. So I'll be interested to see how he rolls it the rest of the weekend. I don't think he's got any Storm Fiends that I've seen on the table at the moment. Maybe he has in the 150 pools, but I certainly haven't seen him playing. But he seems to be doing quite well. And then you've got a brilliant mix all the way down. But it's nice to see Chaos doing so strong, actually, because everybody was in the... I think we mentioned this in the previous video. The commentators, as such, were talking about, it's going to be order, Slans and Stormcast. Actually, the Chaos forces have been built pretty strongly to deal with it, I think, so far.
Yeah.
You've also got thrown in the mix, of course. Don't forget the other factions, Death and the Gash. The Gashes have been curb stomping some people here and there. They've also lost games. I saw one die earlier. So Ben Curry, who was on one of the videos with his Chaos Dwarfs, gunned one down with a load of Earth Shakers and bits and pieces earlier. And a load of just standard Chaos Dwarf men took him out, got double turn and did it.
Do you think that the problem with Death is once they loosen the Gash, it's hard to... I don't know, does the rest of the army perform as well? Can it sort of plug the gaps that are made? Whereas the Chaos, even if they lose critical models, or what you would deem as critical models, they still perform their role very well.
I think it comes down to the pool cost. I mean, the Gash is pretty much half the army, so yes, losing him is the end of the game, really. But with using Kairos and other things that are sub 20-ish pools, it's recoverable, isn't it, if you don't lose them too early. So.
Yeah.
And actually, in a lot of the scenarios, if you haven't got the right thing, they're fairly easy to protect because they just sit at the back, and it can be quite tough to actually get to them. I certainly found it when I was playing at Adepticon last week, getting towards things at the back of the board if you don't have either long range or fast moving or teleporting stuff is a lot harder than it looks on paper, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think you make a decent point on that. It is a bit different. I think the Archeon lists suffer the same sort of thing, especially when they're combined with the Varangard, is if he dies, the Varangard get less good, and you've lost a wizard. There's a lot of things, so those kind of lists seem a bit more vulnerable to it. But these genuine mixed, I'll have the best out of these couple of races thing, seem very strong, and I think we'll see those start to rise to the top tomorrow and see how that pans out. But I think there still could be a few surprises. This event always throws up a few surprises because the size of it, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. And also, because of the size of it, you could get someone that's playing the first 3 games where they've got a really good match. Yeah. So they sneak their way up onto the top tables, and then it just comes down to the draw.
Yeah. Definitely.
So and that's, you want to see that. I want to see sort of like a curveball army coming in. And just surprising everyone. Yeah, I do.
The other thing you may notice about the hall as we go past, there's a lot of people randomly standing around talking. Some of those guys are actually in the tournament, and some aren't. I can see several that are just here to see their mates and have a chat, see what the game's about. There's a few people still on the in gaming clubs, especially local, who are on the edge. This group you're seeing at the minute, there's a couple here which aren't active Age of Sigmar players, but they want to come in and see what it's all about and see what their mates are doing. And I've certainly been telling me they're tempted to play, and I think this event hopefully will go some way to giving them that little push they need to see how great the game looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been good. You've also got a lot of guys with club shirts. If you haven't seen the tournament scene, there's a load of guys, I think we spoke in another video, where they're all got purple tops on. That's all one big club, the Cheltenham guys. There's guys with orange shirts on that are all part of one club. There's tons of them. You can see them everywhere, absolutely everywhere. There's Eat Bats guys that I think some of them could do with a bit of dazzle or some sort of colour thing to keep their t-shirts yellow. But
they're fading a bit now.
Yeah, they're fading a bit, but yeah, there's a few of them. There's just tons of them. You've got a Heelan Hammer All-Star kicking around. There's only one of them playing. The other 3 of us are running the event. But there's tons of groups. We've got guys obviously over from Norway and Sweden. There's a guy in a yellow t-shirt just in the top of the shop there, which he has got a Sweden t-shirt, I think, on, or something similar. Actually, no, we're looking at a different shot. There we go. A Sweden t-shirt on. I have a feeling he's Norwegian, though, which I find odd. But anyway, maybe he isn't. Maybe I'm doing him a disservice. He certainly travelled with the Norwegian guys. So. And yeah, just a really good mix of people. And I think tonight's going to be exciting. So do you want to talk a bit about what we've got planned tonight?
We've got the painting competition on tonight. Mm-hmm. So we've got several categories, single, kind of like our little golden demon, if you like. That should be interesting because last year the quality of the entries was fantastic, and I've seen a few of the entries already and it's even better this year. So hopefully we'll have a lot of entrants for that. I've only seen a few of them, but the quality is very, very high. But it's a headache. You know, when the three of us get together, me, you and Russ, and we get together and we try to decide on who's the winner, it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy. When you get 5 or 6 really top-class paint jobs in one category, it does, I wouldn't say we argue about it, but it does take a while to make that final decision.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing all the entries for that tonight.
Yeah, so like you say, there's lots of different categories on that, so I'm interested to see what people bring. Last year was really tough. We all had a bit of a difference of opinion, didn't we, on what we were going to do on that.
It took a while to sort out, didn't it?
Definitely.
We got there in the end, though.
Yeah, definitely. So that should be cool. And we'll definitely have a video on that, because I think that'll be something that you viewers / listeners will really want to see.
Yeah,
luckily, we've got, as well as this excellent quality production, we also have a very good camera that's taking these pictures, which makes a change for us. Samsung or Apple discussion aside, we'd have some issues over the time of light in here. It's actually, when you're playing in here, it's very light, but when you're trying to take pictures, there's not quite enough light sometimes. So
sometimes it comes across as a bit gloomy.
Yeah,
but
decent camera sorts that out, so that should be good. So yeah, looking forward to getting that up. So keep an eye out for that one, because the last few years that video has been the one that everyone wants to see. You know, and tomorrow lunchtime when we have all the best armies out, there's some fantastic armies here, which is good actually, because it's one of the concerns I had was being so new into Age of Sigmar, is what standard were we going to see? And actually there is some really nice stuff, some really over the top stuff, and just some really nicely painted stuff. But I do think it'll get better from here. I don't think this is the best we will see. I think there's certainly room for improvement, but this early on in the game there's some great stuff.
I think the fact that all the players can mix and match, with the Grand Alliance books, and they can kind of pick this unit, that unit, as we talked many times about on the show. I think the standard of the armies is going to get better and better and better quickly as well. I think this time next year, we're going to see the majority of people coming here are going to have really good armies, or decent armies, because there's really no excuse not to now.
No.
And if you want a very small model count, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's no problem at all. I mean, if you look at Terry Pike's army, it's not got many models in there at all. They're all kind of big, sort of like showpiece models, and that's pretty much most of his army. So if that's what you're into painting, you can do that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, I think it's good, and it's exciting. So I think, do we need to see anything else of the hall, Wayne, or are we good?
No, I think we're done. We'll come back to you and do a sort of end of the day review. We'll have Russ with us, and he can talk us through some of the shenanigans that's been going on, some of the games, some of the armies.
I know he's been speaking to a lot of the guys for their podcast, the Facehammer podcast, just in terms of interviewing them and how they're getting on and how they approach the tournament. So I think that'd be good from a real good gaming perspective. So we'll talk to him and learn from him what he's learned from the players on the next one. So thanks for joining us. As always, if you like the video, like, subscribe and share it, especially if you're on Facebook, that'd be great. And of course you can follow more live updates from us on Twitter at Heelan Hammer and at WayneKemp13. And of course, for all the after show and just listening to us in general talk about Age of Sigmar, you want heelanhammer.com for an awesome podcast. That's it. Until the next time, we'll see you then.
Bye-bye.